Hey dragons, it's Stephanie with Ravens and Blots, and today I'm going to be talking about the best books that I read in 2015. That was going to be a very long list because I read a lot of books this year. I actually ended up reading 141 books, and my goal was 110. And I passed that in October, and that was really fun. But I did end up reading 141 books, and of that 141 books, 15 made the top best list that, yes, I will reread you. I'm so glad I bought you on impulse. And yes, they did. So that's awesome. I had to do some serious weeding out though, and some serious kind of stopping, wanting to put more and more on the list. So I had 3 criteria that all these books met, and they had to be a first time read for me. So basically they had to be one that I had never read before. Even if it was published several years ago, they had to be one that was brand new to me. The second one was that it had to be a already out book. So it couldn't be like an arc of something that's coming out in 2016. It had to be something that was in 2015 or previous. That way I could actually read it and be like, yes, this is actually physically out. And the third thing is that it had to score at least a 3.75 star rating on my Goodreads, which of course you can't do, but I always in the little review put how many actual stars it is if it's a half star or something. But it had to score at least that or higher in order for me to put it onto my top beloved list of this year. Now, of this year, I really did try to read as many different and unique genres as possible. And with that being said, that means that I have some fantasy, I have some YA, I have some adult, I have some nonfiction, and I also have some contemporary. So let's just go ahead and sit back and enjoy this. I also have 2 series I'm going to talk about after all these books because the 2 series were fantastic. One of them is not finished yet, but the other one is, and so I'm going to talk about that. Oh, and disclaimer before I actually get into talking about the books, I decided that I wasn't going to put any books that were like the first or the second in a series in here unless the other books in the series hadn't come out yet, simply because I didn't want to talk about Daughter of Smoke and Bone, which really was one of my favorites, without talking about the entire trilogy, which I'm hopefully going to be finishing this year. The same goes with Heroes of Olympus by Rick Riordan, and also the Grisha trilogy. So I really wanted to talk about the whole series as a whole, not just the one book. So that's why you won't see those books in here. Just a heads up. I mean, not that it matters because it's my books, but I'm letting you know. Okay, so the 4 nonfiction ones that absolutely were amazing this year for me is Simply Tuesday by Emily P. Freeman. This is a book about building benches and learning how to let your soul rest. Very good. Next one is If You Find This Letter by Hannah Breacher. This is about a young girl who basically wrote love letters anonymously to the entire state of New York, and she would just tuck them everywhere and everything, and I really enjoyed this. I liked the idea of it. Next one is Girl Meets Change by by Kirsten Strong. This is a book about embracing transitions and letting transitions work for you. So it was really good. Audacious by Beth Moore, which was the basically talking about how to step out in your faith and really live what you believe. So love Beth Moore anyway, so that was just fun. All right, so now we're getting into the YA. I tried to keep these kind of separated, but I don't think I worked that well, so we'll see how that goes. Next one in my YA sci-fi fantasy would be Ink and Bone, The Great Library by Rachel Caine. I actually didn't realize this was the start of a series until you get 20 pages from the end and you realize all that's happening, you do not have enough book to wrap up. So that was fun. This one I do like though. Books are illegal and they have people who come and collect the books and then destroy them. So it's kind of like reminded me of a 1984 mixed with a Fahrenheit 451, but with a little bit more sci-fi modern feel. I really did enjoy this. There were parts that were a little bit slow, but I liked the idea of having a character who loved books and couldn't stand to see them destroyed. So I'm really excited to see what the second book is going to be about. The next one is Black Widow Forever Read by Margaret Stohl. This is a fantastic read for anyone who is a fan of the Marvel Universe or a fan of Black Widow. It is a much needed book. You definitely need to go pick this up. It follows canon, so it is Natasha Romanoff that we know and love on the big screen and from the comic books, but she does take a little liberty with the canon, so I really did enjoy that. I enjoyed seeing Coulson and Tony Stark through her eyes, and I also enjoyed meeting the new younger versions. So you guys need to pick this up. For everybody who's been saying that Black Widow needs a movie, let's get this book into everybody first, because the more the book is popular, the more we might get a second or a third book, because honestly I could see it being like the Black Widow Chronicles and seeing how we could really get a lot more books out of this, which I would love. The next one is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This is a very gritty heist book about 6 people. Again, I did not realize this was the start of a series until I got to the very end, and I'm like, what? No, it can't be, just no. And it was. So I'm waiting for Leigh Bardugo to write the rest of this series, because it was really good and it's really gripping. It was a little slow at points, but the action more than made up for that, and I really did like the characterization of all these characters. It was very good. The next one on my list is Vengeance Road by Erin Bowman. This is about a young girl who basically goes and takes revenge on the people who killed her father in front of her. There's a little bit of romance, and it's a Western. I personally am surprised I'm not seeing more people talk about this book on BookTube, because it was really fantastic. I highly enjoyed it. Obviously, it made one of my favorite lists. The next one I have is Secrets in Phoenix by Gabrielle Lepore. This, from what I hear, is going to be a series, and I'm really hoping that's correct, because I loved this book. It has the fantasy feel. It also has like a kind of contemporary feel, so it's kind of contemporary / fantasy, and I really enjoyed the characterization of it, and I want to see more of this world. So that would be very helpful for me to see more of this world, like, soon. Please. The next one that I have on my list is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. This is probably one of the cutest ones that I read. This was actually my first Morgan Matson one that I read this year, and she is just a phenomenal writer. She has a way of taking everyday occurrences and turning them just really into significant monuments, and loved it. There's also, in this one, it has like their own little soundtrack and stuff, and so I actually started my Spotify and put all the songs that are on here in that playlist, and then listened to that playlist and read this again. So worth it. It was amazing. But I really did like this. I was thinking it was going to be like a road trip novel, but it's really more than that, because the girl actually is struggling with the death of her dad, and she's driving with this near stranger, and you think it sounds not that great, but trust me, it gets heavy, it gets deep, it's very much in the feels, and I loved it. I was so happy with that. The next one, actually I'm going to talk some more about the contemporaries. I noticed that all my contemporaries were not, it is a Roger and Amy's Epic Detour is actually a YA contemporary, so it's fun. The next one is Love of Fortunes and Other Disasters by Kimberly Carless. I got this randomly from Book Outlet, and I devoured it, and it's super cute, and I love it. It's basically contemporary, but it has an element of fantasy, because they live in a place where true love exists, and where you get your love fortunes printed out. And unfortunately, Phelan, who is the girl, is told that she will never find true love, and she decides to try and fight that. And so it's really cute. I love the cast of characters. I loved the writing style. If there's any complaint that I have on this, I think I would have liked a little bit more of the world building and the magic, because she just kind of interdisposed, you know, Lucky Charms and Weather Charms and Love Charms, and I really did enjoy this book, though. It was really cute. Loved it. Next one is Not If I See You First by Eric Lindstrom. This was the uppercase book of the month, I believe. Yeah, uppercase book of the month last month, and it was phenomenal. First off, it deals with a protagonist who is blind, and not only is she blind, but she's also going through a lot of hard stuff, and honestly, her character is not that likable. Even though, you know, you kind of want to feel sorry for her, she's really not that likable in the beginning, and she goes through quite a lot of character growth, and I loved it. I loved hearing more about disabilities and people who have them, and it was such a good read. I really did. I read it in one sitting, and I was just like, this is fantastic. Love this book. So this is definitely one that literally just made it because I just read it in December. And then my next one for the YA is Everything Everything by Nicolia Yoon. This also has a character that is, she's not blind, but she is biracial, which is very rare to have a main character biracial. And I loved it because the protagonist is supposedly allergic to everything in the world and, you know, has to stay in there in a nice little bubble. And she falls in love with the boy next door. And it's really cute, really well written. It is probably one of my favorite YA contemporaries that came out this year, and I really just like the voice because it felt like it was very unique from a lot of other things that were written, and I loved it. So cute. Alright, then I've got Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Picked this up on random, and I really enjoyed this book. It's dark and gritty, and you're really rooting for not a good guy because neither one of these guys are good, but I loved her writing style. It really reminded me, once I picked up Six of Crows, this is what Vicious reminded me of Six of Crows, because I was like, it was unique to me, but then Leigh Bardugo and V.E. Schwab seem to have a lot of similar writing styles, which I absolutely love. I have Darker Shade of Magic, which is on my TBR for next time, and I cannot wait to read that. So definitely pick that one up though. And the last one that I have of my standalones is The Holder's Dominion by Janice Davis. I met this author in Comic-Con this year, bought this book. This book basically has a girl gamer who needs to save the world, and it has fantasy and contemporary, and it's absolutely one of my favorites. It was a 5 out of 5 stars. Like, how it ends though, I'm really hoping Janice will give us some more of the writing and the world, because she has such fantastic ways of writing her RPG that I was in love with the prose by the first chapter. And as you can tell, I like marked all like my favorite passages, and it was just like, so good. You guys need to go get this. It's on Amazon. I think it's also at barnesandnoble.com, and it's like only, I want to say like $15, so you need to go get it. It's phenomenal. It will change your life. I love this book. So good. So good. Okay, and so also what I'm going to be talking about in this video of books that are the best of 2015, because, you know, that's what I do, is I'm also going to be talking about the lovely books of 2 series. Now, if you've been following me at all on my video, then you will know what the first series is. If you don't, here's my plug. The Jacobee series by William Ritter, composing so far of Jacobee and Beastly Bones. Jacobee starts off, somebody told me it was like Doctor Who. It's not like Doctor Who, okay? It's like Sherlock meets Supernatural meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and set in 19th century England, or America, not England. She's from America. She's from England, but it's in America. I loved this book. This was so great. There were a lot of little twists and turns that you could kind of tell what was going on, but I really did like it. And then Beastly Bones, which was a sequel, which just came out this year, is so good. Rumor has it we're supposed to be getting the 3rd one sometime in April, so I'm really excited about that. Both of those are phenomenal. I absolutely love them. They're one of my new favorite authors, obviously. And then the other series, I am so ashamed it took me so long to get into this person, is the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. I had heard so much about this and I just haven't read it. And the Percy Jackson and the Olympians basically deals with the Lightning Thief, the Sea of Monsters, The Titan's Curse, Battle of the Labyrinth, and The Last Olympian. And I love Rick Riordan's snark and his ability to write so well. And he writes very well. You don't really think that it's going to be a kid book because it really technically is a young middle grade book. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels more like an awesome adventure ride, and that's also part of the reason why I picked up Heroes of Olympus series, because I really want to read that, but I just haven't finished it yet. So anyway, those are my list of my top books for 2015. If you guys have read any of those, let me know down in the comments below, or if you've heard of any that are similar to any of these, let me know again down below. Also, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, a like, because I like those, and subscribe. And I will be doing another video probably soon because I will be doing my 2016 bookish goals for next year. What? Oh my goodness. Anyway guys, I hope you have an amazing night, and keep reading, you awesome dragons, you. Bye!